Byers joins us on today's edition of What's on Your Radar. Tina's an associate portfolio manager at AlphaNorth Asset Management, where she's focused on diversified small and micro-cap investment. Tina, welcome to today's edition of What's on Your Radar.
Thanks for having me.
Can you give us a brief introduction to AlphaNorth Asset Management, as well as a bit of intro into your role there?
So I've been at AlphaNorth for about 4 years now. I recently made associate portfolio manager. AlphaNorth Partners Fund is our flagship fund. As you mentioned, it's a long biased fund, diversified focus. It's an award-winning fund, and generally we have a top-down and bottom-up approach, and we combine technical analysis as an overlay to determine entry and exit points for our investments.
So Tina, as we head into fall 2015, what's on your radar?
Equities in the venture exchange have gotten a lot of heat lately. In the past couple of years, they've strongly been underperforming, and I think there's a misconception that all equities on the venture exchange are resource-based, but really there's been a huge shift from the resource space into tech. So we've been looking a lot at technology equities over the past couple of years, and we think there's a huge discrepancy between the intrinsic value of some of these technology equities and the valuation that they're getting priced at in the market.
Tina, why are you looking at small caps right now? Wouldn't something like a large cap fund be less risky and more of a stable investment?
Yeah, it's interesting because the venture exchange has really dramatically underperformed the other North American indices, and the large caps have strongly outperformed some of the small and micro caps. So at this point in time, we see a huge amount of value in some of these names that investors haven't been paying attention to. We think the large cap space, although there's been a correction recently, has been quite saturated, and we think as that saturation continues, some investment is going to flow out and flow back into the small and micro cap space. The other thing about small cap equities is we view the downside to be the same, because you can always get 100% downside, but the upside is much stronger. You can easily make 10 times your money off of a $1 stock, but it's much more difficult to do that if you're investing in a $100 stock.
What is it that you look for in these companies? Tina, what inspires your confidence?
With small caps, it's really important to invest in companies with a strong management team, so that's always a priority. Management team with a good track record, someone who's experienced and has a good board of directors as well. In terms of the technology aspect, we look for companies who have proprietary technology that's globally disruptive in a large market. So that's something that's really important to us as well. And finally, we look for companies that have the potential to return at least 25% on an annualized basis and strong organic growth.
One of the major factors with small cap investing is a lot of companies at this stage aren't making any money. They're at a pre-cash flow stage. So how do you justify making those investments when there is that risk?
Yeah, there tends to be a lot of volatility in the small caps because there is some uncertainty around the cash flow numbers, what they'll look like in the future, and it can be more difficult to value those companies. But from our perspective, we tend to look at companies that have distribution agreements with major players in their sectors, or joint ventures, or potential purchase orders, which eliminates a lot of the risk. And further to that, most of these companies that we're invested in don't necessarily have cash flow right now, but they have strong visibility towards cash flows.
Tina, are there any companies that you like right now, and can you give us an idea why?
Yeah, so one of the companies that I really like is called Nutrisci International. The ticker is NU on the venture exchange. Basically what the company does is they have caffeine melt, 0 sugar, 0 calories, and you don't get the spike and the crash that you would if you're drinking Red Bull Energy or 5-Hour Energy or something like that. So the safety profile is a lot better. They've signed distribution agreements with the likes of Meijer and Rite Aid, and they're going to distribute in about 30,000 stores in the US. So they've already started distribution. They signed a licensing agreement with a company in South Africa for a $7 million exclusivity over the course of 5 years, and their market cap isn't even $10 million. So we think there's a ton of value in this company. I think it's a hot topic lately because of all the heat that Red Bull and 5-Hour Energy and all these other energy drinks have been getting because of the potentially adverse side effects. So, for example, the University of Colorado has actually decided to ban energy drinks from their campus, and they're replacing them with new energy. There's another company that we really like called Breaking Data. The ticker is BKD on the Venture Exchange. Basically what the company does is they have a proprietary platform that can amalgamate information from the internet and filter it based on what your needs are. So they just launched an app called Breaking Sports that you can get on your Android right now or your iPhone. And it filters all the sports data that you want. For example, with the NFL season coming up, you can get your fantasy data, and you're getting it because it's all automated much faster than you would with a competing product. They recently signed a joint venture with a company out of Australia. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're planning on white labeling the product in the next 30 days. I think the fantasy sport place is really hot right now, especially since Disney put in $250 million into DraftKings, and that company, as well as others, have 1 billion plus valuations. So I think this is just the start for the company. I think they should be at break even towards profitability by the first quarter of 2016, and I think they have a lot more to come.
Well, Tina, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts in today's interview.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And for more expert interviews, breaking small cap news, and daily investing ideas, don't forget to check out smallcappower.com and sign up for our daily newsletter.
Keep up to date with all of your favorite small caps. Subscribe to our free newsletter and get daily investment ideas, breakout stocks, momentum gainers, expert and analyst stock picks, and more. Smallcappower.com, investing ideas and research.